The average person is exposed to over 34 gigabytes of information every day. 34 gigs. It's no wonder we feel overwhelmed. You know, the key to progress and creativity while preserving your serenity and peace of mind, it's not about gaining more knowledge or more information. It's about making better connections. If you're tired of feeling buried under an endless stream of content, it's time for a change. I'm Hawk. I help people own their growth and unlock their potential. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can have more flexibility and focus while still developing your genius and original ideas through the power of synthesis. I'll present you with a practical guide, and we'll learn how to combine seemingly unrelated ideas and information to unlock new insights so you can create original stuff, new ideas, your own content, whatever it is you like. But first, we got to talk about what is synthesis. What does it mean to combine ideas, and how do we do it? Why is it important? Let's start with the definition. Synthesis is the process of combining different elements to create something new and unique. That's it. It matters because it helps us unlock new insights, new ideas. It helps us generate creative solutions and develop deeper thinking and understanding of complex ideas. It's helpful to understand the core components of how synthesis works so that you understand the thought processes that are going on inside of your brain while you're doing it. The first is that we need to be able to break down complex information into its constituent elements. This is actually called analysis, and you probably do it more often than you think. But the idea is like in a classic science classroom example, you may have had the experience of dissecting a frog. I had some friends who dissected a cat, which is really weird and seems cruel to me. But nonetheless, when you slice open the frog or cat or whatever, and you're in the class, you like pull out all of its organs and identify like, okay, here's the stomach and this is a heart and this must be a liver and there's a spleen and whatever. You go through this whole process of cutting it apart and being able to look at it from all different angles and sides, right? That's analysis. Synthesis would be like dissecting a frog and then a cat and like creating some weird Frankenstein monster by putting all the pieces together. That would be synthesis in this grotesque, horrible example. But the idea is to be able to explore connections and the relationships between things and look for commonalities and differences between those elements in order to create something new. That's the idea. That's the real objective. That's why it's called synthesis. It's about, if analysis is about cutting things apart, then synthesis is about putting them back together in a different way. It allows us to break down complex information into its constituent parts and then look for commonalities and differences between those elements. So looking for connections and relationships, and then to be able to combine those elements in unexpected ways to create an original idea, such as the frog cat Frankenstein. Frog cat. Those words don't mesh well together. Frat. So what are some practical strategies you can use to harness this skill? You may be familiar with them already. The first up is mind mapping. It's that simple exercise of writing your concept down in the center of a sheet of paper and then having branches out to other ideas to show connections. Another would be comparative analysis. I think about someone doing a comparative film study, analyzing film A and then analyzing film B and then drawing comparisons between the two, talking about their differences. And then the third is critical thinking. So developing your critical thinking skills involves questioning assumptions and challenging existing ideas. I haven't done a whole lot of videos on that yet, but those will be more to come later. There's a whole lot to say about critical thinking, but the purpose of critical thinking is to get at truth, to find truth. I would like to shift and talk about how synthesis appears in society. The first example is from the business world, where you've got platforms like Uber and Airbnb. Airbnb has synthesized hospitality and with technology in a shared economy. So that's three layers of synthesis there. They've created housing space for you to rent, like a hotel. They've built a platform. You got a car, you got technology, shared economy. It's all synthesized together. Another example would be from the science realm, the development of the CRISPR gene editing technology with applications in medicine and agriculture and biotechnology. My third example of synthesis is from the art world. I've seen lately, in the last decade or so, this rise of immersive digital art experiences where you as the audience actually get to go into the museum and be a part of the installation. You get to like climb around in it and explore. One example would be Meow Wolf. If you're familiar with Meow Wolf museums, there's multiple locations around the United States. I believe there's one in the Dallas area. There's one in Houston area. And I just Googled, there's one in Vegas as well. I went to one, it wasn't Meow Wolf, but it was a similar concept. It was a digital art museum in Tokyo, in Japan. And it's called Team Lab Borderless. I don't know the significance of that name, but it combines digital technology with traditional art forms and architectural design. You go into this place and you got to take your shoes off because there's water like everywhere. You walk down this dark corridor and there's like water rushing underneath your feet, right? And then you walk deeper into this place and there's whole pools you have to wade through, right? So they recommend that you not wear pants, that you wear shorts or like roll your pants up to your like knee height because you're literally wading through all of this water and there's like these colorful lights and like fish floating around and like jellyfish. It was a trippy, weird experience. I swear I wasn't on any drugs, but it felt like I was. It was wild. So cool. But anyway, back to Synthesis. They're combining digital art technology with this architectural experience, a thing that you can walk into and be a part of. It was awesome. It was awesome. Anyway, let's bring this back around here. So how do I make this practical in my own everyday existence? I would say first, watch the rest of my videos because they're all about continuous learning and exploration. And Synthesis requires that you stay curious and that you seek out new information from diverse sources. And I got to really emphasize that. Diverse sources are important. Reading widely and from different outlets, different venues. If you're getting your news from the same place all the time, you might want to switch it up because I promise you they are biased. There are very few media outlets that don't have some kind of bias about them. We are human beings. We have cognitive biases that litter our brains, and it's like a minefield in there of biases. And I guarantee you, someone who's delivering a message will have some sort of bias in their delivery, in the message that they deliver. It's kind of an inherent part of who we are, and we got to be really careful about identifying those things. And most of us aren't. Most of us just don't have those skills. That could be a whole series of videos that I do in the future. The second thing is to practice synthesis regularly in order to refine your skills. So you just got to do it a lot. Make mind maps, just comparing stuff, being able to make connections between things. And the last thing is to be able to embrace failure as a learning opportunity and being able to adapt your approach. Many of us lack these skills because they weren't taught to us explicitly when we were young. I would argue that's the purpose of school, but not all schools believed that, especially like as you go further and further back in history. It's kind of a more recent idea tied to growth mindset and taking ownership of your learning. But being able to develop these skills, it requires a foundation of self-compassion, this willingness to fail and not beat yourself up about it. My colleagues and I have actually developed a free resource on our website to help people cultivate more self-compassion in their lives so that they can become better learners in the future. If you want to go deeper and you'd like to access that resource, you can. You can go to our website at www.explore.mykajabi.com. We'll put the link in the description below, and you'll get access to our free self-compassion course. It's an email course, so it will show up in your email inbox every day. You'll get a different one for 10 days. It's designed to help you set the foundations for a lifetime of deeper learning, to help you +1 your intelligence. You'll also be added to our waitlist. You'll be notified when I launch my first mini course designed to improve your growth in what you say in any skill you want. In any skill of your choosing, whatever it is you want to build your skills in, this course will help you do it. I'm still working on a title. I'm thinking along the lines of learning mindset or confidence in learning or something along those lines, but it's still under construction. So you'll be added to a wait list and you'll get an email when it's done. when it's available. In fact, we'll be offering pre-orders to purchase access to the course, so you can have early access and you'll get access to every little module that I build as I build it. And you'll also have access to weekly updates. So you'll get an email whenever something new comes out. If you pre-order, we're actually going to give you a 20% discount just as a thank you for jumping in on this early opportunity. And as we continue building, you're going to receive email updates with our new content, new insights, new ways to get involved. Plus, you'll be on the inside track to shape our community and our content as it grows. I will be actively leaning into my community so I can differentiate their needs and provide them with as much learning value as I can. So do that right now before you forget. Go to our website, explore.mykajabi.com. Try out the free self-compassion course. It's a preview of what you can probably expect as we build out the learning mindset course, or whatever we're going to call it. And remember, the best learning doesn't come from answers. It comes from better questions. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.